Hey guys, Nikki Wood here, and today we're going to be talking about should you be doing love spells or not? Because this is a topic that comes up quite frequently. I get people asking me a lot of questions about this, and quite frankly, relationships are something that is really kind of at the forefront of a lot of people's experiences. So I thought we would talk a little bit about it today. I'll tell you a little bit about how I think about it and some other considerations that you might have if you are going to be doing this type of spell work. In no way do I want to tell anybody how to do their practice because everyone does something different and you have to do what's really right for you. So I'll tell you what I think and I'll tell you some other outcomes and some things that can be happening if you are doing this type of magic. So before we start, I just want to let you know that love spells are not something that I particularly do. Actually, I don't ever do them. And the reason why for me is because I don't want to mess with anybody's free will to choose their destiny. I don't want to mess with somebody's free will to choose the person that they want to spend, the rest of their life with. And so for me, that's a consideration that I take into account when I am doing my magical workings. Now, this is not true for everyone, and that's okay, but that's just my personal perspective on things. So I'm not one that really generally helps other people do love spells or will give you instructions on it, but I will give you some perspective. That's usually what I will offer. So let's talk for a minute about love spells, and if you are going to do them, some of the things that can happen. So first of all, you can do the spell and it doesn't work. And that's disappointing because of whatever spell you want to do, you want it to work. And it always kind of hits you a little bit right here. Like it's a disappointment, like, oh man, what happened? So what happens if your love spell doesn't work is basically the universe to do a really big solid. It just doesn't feel like it right now. The universe or spirit, they saw something in what you were trying to do that either wasn't right, it wasn't for you, or it was going to cause you bigger problems down the line. So take this into account when you are, kind of reviewing things and trying to figure out, why it didn't work or, questioning things. The second thing that I would tell you that would be really good for you to do if this is the outcome of your spell is to really get some perspective and take a look inward and see what your motivations and intentions were for creating the spell. Because the chances are there might be something in there that your intention wasn't pure or true or something, and that's why it wasn't working. I've seen a lot of different things with people, coming to me with this problem or asking questions about it. And when you are in a highly charged emotional state, sometimes it's hard to make decisions. Like your ego's going and it's telling you, no, we can get this person back. And you have to take a step back and be like, is this person, do I want them back because it's the right thing? Or do I want them back just because I don't want to be by myself? There's a lot of different factors that can go in. I spoke with a woman one time and, her boyfriend had broken up with her and she just couldn't accept that fact. And from everything that she had told me, it was almost like she wasn't listening to herself. None of the situations that were going on sounded like it was very good for them to be together on either side, but she just couldn't let it go, so she was going to try to force a situation that really wasn't working. Sometimes we just can't accept the answer that we get. Sometimes we just, want something that we can't have. Sometimes we'll ask somebody out and they unfortunately decline us, and it's it's a little ego bruising and it's sad and it's upsetting, and sometimes we can walk away from that, and sometimes we're like, what, no, I'm going to do this love spell. So you really have to consider what your intentions and things are for behind wanting this, and if that's an appropriate intention or if it's not. So please do think about that if this type of spell work is up your alley. Now I want to talk for a minute too about, okay, what if it does work? So most people will be excited by this, but personally, what I've seen too, love spells that do work, they cause a lot of turbulence and issues and other things within that relationship, because what's happening is you're taking two forces and you're kind of like pushing them together, and they're not supposed to be mixed at maybe just at that time or at all. And so it causes these flare-ups and these other things to happen. And I've seen people look quite stressed and quite disheveled and quite just on their last leg because they're dealing with a relationship that just isn't working harmoniously. And a lot of times that can be because you're forcing things together instead of letting things happen naturally or organically that are supposed to happen. So that could be one of the reasons too. If it is working and you're feeling funky or having problems, it worked, but it didn't work. Some other issues that you might want to take into consideration under this one is, like I said before, the free will. You've taken away someone's free will to choose, and you've basically forced them into a situation that they may or may not have picked on their own. So this is another reason or another thing that will bring up problems or turbulence within that relationship. Something else you might want to consider in this realm is that I think maybe the guys might not have such a big problem, but us girls, like our hamster, he runs in the wheel upstairs and starts thinking all these things. We're overthinkers a lot just by nature. So at first it might not be a big deal, but over time, are you going to be okay just not knowing whether this person actually likes you for you or if he likes you because you made him? Are you okay with that? Because that's a really big thing that's going to come up, and I think that's something important that you really should be thinking about. The last thing that I would like you to just kind of mull over in your head too is a lot of times too, the heart's a funny thing, our emotions are a funny thing, and sometimes we're just caught up in where we are and we can't see outside of stuff. So maybe at the time you think that this person might be really great for you, but what if Spirit has something else in mind or planned, and they have like the love of your life, they have your soulmate, they have your perfect person for you that is your good match, and you're stuck with this person that you've chained to you because this is who you think that you want, or this is who you think is the person for you. So you're not actually getting your right person. You're not getting your best match. And the person that you're with, guess what? They're not getting their best match either. So that's also something to consider if you are trying to kind of pull people together in this way. So what happens if you still want to do a love spell, but now you're feeling a little bit sketchy or weirded out by some of the stuff I said? You're like, well, I want this, but I see how this is going. What are my options? Well, the good news is that you do still have options. Now, if you want somebody in your life and you're single, or if you've broken up with somebody, you can ask the universe, if this is the right person, please bring them back to me. And if they're not the right person, then please shove them far away so that I make room for my right person to come. If you are just single and there's nobody in sight, you could actually do I would say more of a generic love spell. I don't want that to sound kind of, like not great, but like you can do a generic kind of blanket love spell. And what this will do is it will bring the right person to you without you having to designate yourself who that person is, which is really great, because I think a lot of times too with whatever spiritual magical workings that you're doing is you don't want to limit it to something specific, because you just want to say what you want. Like if you're looking for a job, you're like, I want something that has flexible hours, I want something that has good pay, I want, something with a 401k plan, and then you just throw that out into the universe, and the universe builds you that perfect job. And it's the same thing with relationships. If you can throw that out there, the universe will kind of know what to do, and they'll kind of pull that together and bring those energies towards you. So maybe you want somebody funny, maybe you want somebody that cooks, maybe you want somebody who's really loyal or likes to travel or is smart. Whatever it is that you're looking for in a person, you can do a love spell or a magic ritual to bring somebody with those particular qualities into your life. And I feel like if you're going to be doing any type of magical workings in the romance area between two people, I feel like that would be the most appropriate one to do or to invoke. Me personally, I'm more of an organic person, so I don't even do those things, but I know a lot of people that do more of a general kind of love spell, and I've seen that work so much better than trying to force two energies together in the way that a lot of people are doing it. So hopefully that has been helpful for you guys today. Hopefully it's given you some perspective and some things to think about. Practice however you want. You only know what's right for you. I don't know that. But just make sure that you know what you're getting into before you just start moving energies around, because I think that's sometimes a really big problem with spells and magic that people don't do. They do it and then they don't consider the other things. So hopefully this video has given you some things to think about today. So once again, as always, thank you so much for watching. You guys are awesome. And until next time, have an absolutely beautiful day.